It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi, I'm Frank Murphy.
Hi, I'm Becca James, the girl with two first names.
Wait a minute, who? What are you doing here?
Are we doing a Who's on First bit?
No, hello.
Hi, Frank.
Becca is here. She's filling in for Catherine Frady this week for good reason, for a number of things that we'll talk about. First of all, hello, my dear friend.
Hi, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you, too. It's been a while.
Yes, too long.
Are we allowed to talk about how it is we know each other, that we used to work at the same place and now we don't?
I think that's okay.
All right. Was it Journal or Scripps when we met? It was Journal.
We were for Journal Broadcasting. I actually came in for my interview, and I was supposed to spend time with you to teach me things, and I ended up spending all my time talking to Kim Hansard.
That's Kim's fault. She'll dominate in every way.
I can hold my own with the whole talking thing, too, so I won't throw all the blame on
Well,
Kim.
you made up for it. When you actually got hired and came aboard, I was filling in on the shift that you would eventually have.
Yep.
And so I did. It was me who taught you all the little knobs and whistles and bells and tricks of the
Those
computers.
are the technical terms.
That's what they call it. Very engineering, very high tech. And now neither of us work there, so how about that?
Yeah. But that's okay. We're together again.
Yeah. And the reason I asked you to fill in for Frady this week is, well, she's got opera auditions, first of all. So we want to say toy, toy, toy to you, Catherine. She's headed to New York in a couple of days to go sing and do things.
Oh, that's exciting for her.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I didn't understand. I said, why do you have to go to New York? Are you going to be auditioning for New York Opera? She says, no. All of the opera companies, including for example, Knoxville Opera or Wichita Opera or these other ones all over the country where she's sang, they all come to New York roughly around the same time of the year in December, and they'll have the auditions. So she's going there. She told me what opera she's auditioning for. I can't recall it at the moment. It's not Knoxville and it's not Wichita. It's some other one. And but she'll go and she has an appointment in New York to audition for some opera company that is in the middle of the country. So
basically, everybody from around the year meets up in New York to do all the auditions in 1 week.
Exactly, and the singers all show up, and the artistic directors all show up, and it's very efficient. So you can go so without flying all over the country, you can audition for opera companies all over the country. That is
efficient, and it's also like a big fun convention because I'm sure everybody knows each other. That type of industry is very close. So
so
cool.
that does sound good. And she's also, not in addition to being a soprano, I'm talking more about Frady than on this episode than we do when she's here.
That's okay, it's interesting.
Yeah, she's also an executive artistic director, so she's involved in these other management type things too, these other panels and whatnot. So
she's a multitasker, I like it.
So, and as such, she's not going to be here on Saturday when I will be hosting, once again, the Carnes Christmas Parade. So I thought, I am not going to do it alone. I am going to invite a good friend because it's called...
Well, somebody needs to keep you in line.
The name of the show.
Oh, Frank and Friends.
So I have friends, plural.
You do have friends. And I'm very excited to host the Carnes Christmas Parade with you. I think it's going to be a blast.
Have you ever done a parade?
Even if it's going to be cold.
Oh, it'll be cold. Have you ever done a parade?
I have.
Oh, tell me.
Yeah, so back in Houston, I would help co-host the MLK Parade. So I've done that. And then I've been in one at Disney World.
Oh, now did you have to do the Disney dance?
No, it wasn't that technical. I was actually in it as one of the guests chosen from the park. And so I was working there at the time in the college program.
Yeah.
And my roommate and I were visiting Animal Kingdom. And they picked us. And so we got to ride in the lead car. And we had to just sit there and just wave.
I'm not trying to one-up in any way, but I at one point had very cute children.
They're still pretty cute.
They're adorable. But I'm saying that when they were little itty bitties, and in fact, actually, it was before Frank Jr. was even born. It was 1989, and not that I can remember specifically that it was May of 1989, because it was the grand opening of something, Disney MGM Studios. And we're down there, and my wife and baby Megan, toddler Megan, and this other DJ and his wife, Frida and Bart, they get picked to be in the parade, and then the stupid DJ husbands get to ride along, meaning, and it's fun.
It is fun.
I like being in parades.
It's really fun being in parades.
In fact, I'm actually, the night before the Carnes Parade, I'm going to walk in the downtown Knoxville parade representing East Tennessee PBS.
Oh, that'll be fun too.
Yeah.
Now, can you throw out candy at that one?
I don't think so.
Because we can at the Carnes Christmas Parade.
Well, from where we're going to be, we would put an eye out if we threw candy.
Well, just don't aim for the faces.
Well, because we're not, we're going to be on the YouTube, on the live stream YouTube. Carnes Network last year created a YouTube channel And the first thing they ever did was the Christmas parade. So there's a guy named Chris Wade who used to work at B97 and for many years on the morning. He helped out on the morning show. He DJ'd on the weekends, and he did the songs of worship and praise. Well, now he works for Knox County Schools, and he runs this audiovisual program at Carnes. They named him Teacher of the Year. He's so good at it.
Awesome.
He's
Congratulations.
really. So he got public school money and bought up a bunch of brand new equipment. So the day I'm there last year with Krisha, who used to do the show with me, they handed us these. Literally, they smelled new. The headphones with the microphone that goes around
better
this.
than smelling old.
No, they were so new. No one had ever worn them before. We're putting them on virgin for the first time, and they just had that new headphone smell.
Yeah.
And it was exciting, and we did the parade. So there's a pedestrian bridge that goes over Oak Ridge Highway.
I live out in that direction, so I'm familiar with it.
That's where we'll be.
Okay.
Sitting up on the bridge. So the parade actually will technically be going under us.
Oh, cool.
And the only way to really see it is we'll have a monitor.
Okay.
And it makes sense to look at that because that's what the viewers at home will be seeing.
Okay.
And we'll have a list that they'll be updating on our phones via some kind of Google Doc.
Very technical.
Yeah. Google Sheets, I think they're using.
Well, it's cool though because anybody can participate in this parade.
Yeah, you just have to show up Saturday morning. I think it usually starts at the Ingalls in Carnes and get there in time because it starts at 9 o'clock. You got to get there before 9.
And if you're going to show up, at least wear a Santa hat, throw some lights on your car, or do something like that. Be festive.
Yeah, and the people who show up are generally like Mindy Thomas, who has the TriStar Twirl. She teaches baton twirling.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so she usually shows up at that with her twirlers, and they march through. In fact, I was surprised because I didn't know that she was going to be in the parade last year, and she's coming by. I'm like, twirling school? That's not Mindy Thomas, is it? And I'm making these jokes on the YouTube, and of course she hears about it, and I get a text later. Were you talking about me? So yes, Mindy.
Well, it's our job to talk about everybody as they parade through.
So that's going to be fun, and that'll be Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, live on the Carnes Network YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description for this show, so you can ideally subscribe. They also need to get up into the numbers of subscribers, and then during the rest of the year, they'll do sporting events and other things Carnes related.
Yeah, it's a good resource.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're doing this, and also you're here because this way we can just get. Instead of doing all of this on the parade, instead of having
get it out of the way now,
getting all the get reacquainted chat on the parade, we'll do it here, at the beautiful podcast Ponderosa. Which
you've got a great little setup here. You have things I wouldn't have expected. Like, what's the bell for?
There you go. I grew up in old school radio where all DJs had bells. Okay. And the Don and Mike show I was on in Wava in Washington, D.C., and they had a bell. That's why Mark and Kim have a bell, is because Mark really models his whole career on Don Geronimo and wants to emulate him. But so did a lot of others. My friend Bean from the Kevin and Bean show also was greatly influenced by the Don and Mike show. So Bean now has this hugely successful podcast called Cup of Tea and a Chat. And he's in England, and his co-host just moved to Maine. So they're transatlantic, but they both have bells.
And when do you ring the bell? Why do you ring the bell?
Well, because somebody will say something that can be misinterpreted in a double entendre fashion.
Yes, I have heard myself talk sometimes. And
so and now this is not real. This is more of a PG rated show. They definitely get into the R-rated material.
Yes,
but they'll still say something like the other day. Allie was talking about cranberry sauce, and she said that. She prefers it in a can, but that's not exactly the way she phrased it. She phrased it in such a fashion that it was a
bell ringer,
a bell moment.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
So anyway, we still have the Thanksgiving decorations up, obviously,
yes.
Because we just had Thanksgiving, and Jerry the Brave will probably, by the time the next episode happens, swap all of this out for Christmas.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, I think it was nice. How was yours?
Has your waistline recovered yet?
Well, my guilty admission is that every week is like Thanksgiving around this household.
That's not horrible. There is a new weight loss TikTok trend that you could try.
Oh my.
It's squeezing fresh lemon juice into your coffee.
Ooh, that sounds bad.
Everybody on TikTok makes a face. And of course now dietitians have gone on to say that no, it's absolutely It doesn't work. There's no scientific backing to it. So the people who swear it works are just blowing smoke.
So that's a new trend, because a year or two ago, it was put pats of butter in your coffee.
It's a TikTok trend.
Butter.
So I would venture to say 1% actually have some truth to them.
Yeah. I don't see how, I mean, they say when you're on a diet program to drink hot lemon water because it helps with your
like digestion and everything.
Things like that. So, yeah, so I mean, I can see drinking, and coffee is hot water, and lemon is lemon, so it's just hot.
Coffee is more than just hot bean water. It is.
It's delicious.
Life.
It's good.
It's life.
It's very good. I'm thinking of buying cheaper coffee. I've been buying Starbucks by the bag at Sam's Club, and it's expensive. I want to switch to like cheaper, like 8 o'clock coffee or something less.
Have you actually just tried the Kroger brand Colombian? They come in the big tubs at Kroger.
No, I've been buying it.
It's not expensive, and it's pretty good.
I've been buying it at Sam's Club, because they get the big giant bag of Starbucks. Verona, not Verona, whatever the dark roast Italian.
I know.
Is.
I love my coffee.
Yeah.
And so I normally order locally from Smoky Mountain Coffee. Guy Mike Aliff, who used to do the ads on Oak Ridge Nissan. He actually roasts his own coffee, and it's amazing. Yeah. But I am currently cutting back a little bit, so I'll hit you up, Mike, hopefully in a month or two.
Yeah, podcasts are not. We're not all Allie and Bean. We're not all lucrative podcasters.
No.
Most of us do it for free.
But the Kroger Colombian will work in a pinch, and it's like $6 for the massive tub.
Oh, that's a good plan.
And depending on how much you drink a day, it'll last you a while.
Well, with kids, do you get up super early or?
6 a.m. is a good morning wake up.
Okay.
Because lately they're creeping to before 6, especially daylight saving, threw everything off.
Yeah.
We're getting back to they're not waking up till about 6:15
now that we're in standard
again,
time,
which is nice. But it's also kids, so you never know if there's going to be a middle of the night wake up. So I have a sign in my house that says this house runs on love, laughter, and really strong coffee. And can I get an amen?
Well, I found that when my grandkids were here, they slept later than they do at home because the sun comes up almost an hour later here than it does where they live in the D.C. suburbs. Because we're so much further west.
I can see that.
In the time zone.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great. And they did well with the extra sleep. They need the extra sleep when they're toddlers.
Their parents, your kids, probably loved that.
Well, they had dropped the kids off here, and I'm telling them, I'm texting my daughter.
Wait, so you let them drop their kids off here and they went away?
Yeah.
Can I do that? I have twin boys who are almost 3, and I love them dearly. They're the best thing I ever did, but I could use a day to sleep in and actually run errands and do things.
We've made a thing. We call it Grandma and Grandpa Camp.
Oh.
Where because they live 500 miles away, we make it so that they can spend either a week here or this summer, Artie was here for a few weeks. And he went with me on all these Smoky Mountain adventures. Oh. Catherine Frady and Artie and I all went, and we went to do snow tubing, indoor snow tubing, and just all of these things.
You're the only person I know that has more energy than a child.
That's what I'm... Yeah, I mean, everyone's like, my daughter's worried. She says, Dad, he's a toddler, or now he's 8, but he says, we've done this like every year since he was 4, I think. Mm-hmm. And she would say, aren't you worried that he's going to wear you out? I'm like, what do you mean talking about?
Meanwhile, like you're carrying him around sleeping.
Right, I wear him out. I'm like, he's like, Grandpa, please, can I just sit and play on the Wii or something? Grandpa. Do we have to go do everything?
Yeah, well, just let me know. I'll just drop off my boys to you. You got them.
Your own family. You should have an opportunity for them to go and stay. Drop them off for a week. Yeah. Where do your parents live?
Texas.
See, that's perfect.
But I have very specific rules that I cannot drop them off until they are potty trained, which we are in the middle of.
Well, that sounds like a tease. So let us do that. That's the same with ours. We couldn't take them until they were potty trained. So let's talk about that right after we talk about Steve's tree service. And both Steve and Renee are perfectly well potty trained. I can vouch for them.
I would hope.
Yeah. Although I actually, now that I just said that, I realize I know too much information about tree climbers that we're not going to discuss in this section. I'll tell you off air. But
Now that's a tease.
But Steve and Renee hire tree climbers instead of bringing in the big bucket truck. Like, for example, I had these nasty trees that were right leaning over the pool, and I needed to get rid of them. But the other tree companies were talking about how they were going to have to, temporarily take down the fence and bring in the truck with the cherry picker or the bucket truck, whatever they call it, to get up there.
Yeah,
because these trees were too tall, and you can't just saw it off at the bottom.
No, you would cause a lot of damage that way.
Right. So Steve comes over and gives me a more affordable estimate, a reasonable estimate, that was a little less than the others. And I thought, and I said, what about all that nonsense? He says, oh, no. We'll have our climbers, they're like lumberjacks.
Yeah.
They have
that was my college mascot.
Lumberjacks?
Yeah,
Stephen F. Austin.
Yep.
So, you know what I mean? They'll have those things that go around and the spikes on their shoes, and they go, dup, 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 and they get to the top of the tree. And they throw ropes up there, and they tie things, and they knot things, and they do things. And then they get their little baby chainsaw that's like on their belt.
And they just do it like limb by limb.
And they slice off this limb, and it's on a rope and a pulley or whatever it is, it's leaped over, and then it dangles, and they lower it to the ground.
Yeah, so they start at the top and work their way down versus just chopping at the bottom.
And then they chop off these big, 6-foot chunks of main trunk, and those, somehow they have that figured out, so those just come swaying down. And when they get down to like the last little bit of it, then they just knock it down, and they fall it. They make it go exactly where they want it to go.
Yeah.
So they know all this stuff.
It's a science.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Oh yeah, it's total. I don't know if it's trigonometry or geometry to know this tall will go that far.
Can't say I'm much of a math person.
Well, that's how it works. So they're great, and they serve all of Knox, Sevier, Blount, Loudoun, Anderson, and Jefferson counties. And I hope that you'll look them up on Facebook. They got the 5-star ratings on Google and all the other Yelp, all the things. 865-257-6214 is Steve's Tree Service, and tell him, I'm a satisfied customer. I paid them to cut down the trees, and then he said, well, I'll buy some ads on your show. I'm like, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's, they're good guys and gals over there at Steve's. Okay, so you're absolutely right, though, about Grandma and Grandpa Camp. I would not take the children until they were potty trained. In fact, I'm trying to remember, I think that was when the first year we could only take Artie because he was the oldest. And then once Timmy was potty trained, he was allowed to stay.
And how old were they?
That's a really good question. I'm assuming that Artie... Well, I don't think we even got into him staying here until he was 4, because you want him old enough to be able to function a little bit.
Yes.
So they're about 2 years apart. Artie, 4, 2, and Charlie then I guess would have been newborn at that point.
Yeah.
But I asked my wife about when did our kids potty train, and she said, well, we're both trying to remember, because I have this memory of my own 2 children. The way I potty trained them was I said, children, gather around. Yes, Father. We're going to have a discussion, and I'm going to talk to you logically and apply it to your sense of reason.
Logic and toddlers, because there's a winning combination.
And they said, yes, Father.
Yes, Papa.
And I said, we're not using diapers any longer. You're going to use you can at the whiteboard. I'm going to draw you a diagram.
You couldn't just go into the bathroom and, Exhibit A.
What? That's the bad. You will now use this device instead of diapers. From this point forward, no more diapers. Yes, Father. And I think that's how it went, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is it how it went? Because let me tell you how it's going in my world. First of all, 2 boys at the same time.
Because you're twins.
I know, and it's very special. And I guess to start off, I wouldn't say that it's the worst experience I've ever had. They might be a little bit above average, maybe, I don't know.
In terms of potty training, or just in terms of general?
In terms of potty training, because it hasn't been the nightmare I expected it to be. Because I had it blown up in my head like it's going to be the biggest thing. You start reading some of these books and they're like, well, the best time to potty train is when they're between 2 and 2.5, and my kids are about to be 3. And I'm like, oh my God, we missed the moment.
Actually, no, you did it right. And my wife's told me in reality, she said she didn't push it. She waited until they were 3.
I wanted the signs that they were able to do certain things, like they can pull up and, push down their pants, pull them back up.
Yeah.
Side note, why do we say it's, pulling down our pants when really we're pushing down our pants? Anywho. Right? You think about that as you're trying to explain every little detail to your child about step by step what they're supposed to be doing, and you realize some phrases don't make any sense.
Do you want to borrow my whiteboard, my dry erase marker?
Okay, I'll get off that soapbox. Anyways, so the book that we've gone with was like, oh crap, potty training is the title, something like that. So I apologize to the author. I can't remember the name of the authors, but she's really funny. And it talks about how, day one, nothing. Just let them run around the house naked.
Okay, now my daughter at least put an adult t-shirt on them.
Because it's winter, they had their long sleeve shirts, so they were basically
but no pants.
Running around like Winnie the Pooh.
Yes. Wait, does Winnie the Pooh have no pants?
Correct.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Winnie the Pooh, Donald Duck, and Porky Pig are pantsless.
Yes,
okay.
Mickey has pants only.
Right, but no top. Okay.
The world of cartoons. So that's what we did for day one, and it wasn't.
At some point they're going to go on the floor.
I'm not trying to gross people out.
But at some point they're going to mess.
But there were some fountain moments.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
And the first couple times it's just going to happen where it happens, and as the book reminds me, it's sterile.
It is?
It is sterile. So there's that.
Okay.
So it wasn't as bad as we could have. And by the end of the day, they were to the point where they were realizing it, and they were, if even a little cutout, they were able to stop it. We were able to run to the potty. Or I say run to the potty, we actually had the little training potties in the living room, so we would be able to get them onto the potty.
So the catch here is that the diaper takes away all the consequences. And you need to be able to relate and associate the feeling with the consequence.
Exactly, because they never thought about this bodily function their entire lives. All of a sudden we're saying, nope, you're going to do it in this potty exhibit on your whiteboard.
Yes, mother.
And, so all of a sudden you're training your kid to rethink, to pay attention to certain feelings they've never felt. It's very new, it's very different. Obviously, it's very airy when they're running around without pants.
I'm thinking about two twin boys. This is a literal contest, if you know what I'm talking about. I mean, we're talking about an actual...
We're not there yet because we are using the whole sitting down to potty right now. When they get a little bit older and have actually mastered potty training, then we'll... This is what my husband has plans for.
I think it's still a contest to see who makes it.
Can I say it?
Who makes it without making an accident. That's the contest at this point, is don't pee on the floor.
But soon, they actually make targets for the bottom of the toilet. So that you can aim and make a game out of it. And so I've told my husband that he gets to have fun when we get to that point. But
you cannot buy those at Walmart. You can only buy them at Target. Thank you.
I got to use the bell.
There you go.
But anyway, so as we progress...
I should have said, it's a literal contest. That's what I should have done.
Okay. So we progress. Day 2, still naked. Day 3, we are now wearing pants, but no underwear.
When you say we...
I mean them.
Okay. I don't know what kind of family you have. I don't know how you lead by example.
Not quite by that type of example.
Seems rough.
Yeah. But so we're actually doing good. We're making it to the potty most of the time. We're having very few accidents. Obviously, pooping is a whole nother story. I think day 4, one of them actually pooped in the potty.
Oh my.
And he did it during nap time. So we laid them down for nap. They're commando, but he actually got out of bed while he was napping. We had the little potty in his room. And, when we wake him up from nap, there's poop in the potty.
And he couldn't figure it out.
How
do you know which one did it?
Because the other one's having a lot of trouble.
Oh.
So there have been times, and the way we know that is because he would disappear for a minute and, he'd be wearing pants, but there'd just be a perfect specimen on the floor, and the pants would be clean because he knew, I can't go in my pants. So he was literally pulling down his pants and pooping and then pulling them back up. And then we'd find...
This is like, you got to go watch Leanne Morgan's, the comedian's story about when her kids were going through this, and she has a whole routine about doo-doo balls in the supermarket. Oh. That's terrible. I mean, it's hard. It's hilarious.
We have not taken them to a supermarket since we started training, but we have started taking them.
Because they don't have pants on. You can't take them anywhere.
They have pants on now. So they were home for 2 weeks, so we got through this. And we're actually to the point now where we have very few accidents. Yeah. But because of daycare, they have to wear pull-ups, which, as my book that I'm reading explains, are basically diapers. But we are very big on, we're calling them underwear. They have to, push them down, pull them up themselves.
They tell
and all
that,
of
when you get to be a senior citizen, they still call it underwear. So just so you know, it's the same thing.
I'll have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
But so they are doing well. So we're 2 weeks in, and we are wearing the pull-ups now as underwear before we progress to real underwear. But they are. I say 90% of the time making it to the bathroom, and they're even starting to want to use the big potty
Is this
versus
why
their baby potty.
you give them fancy underwear that has their favorite character on it so that they don't want to soil?
Yes, and currently our pull-ups have
Superhero.
Spider-Man on it.
Okay.
So, and that's because Spidey's a favorite.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to get that caught in the web.
And we have... But
I'm just saying that's what...
all of these.
No, this is Spider-Man shoots webs, and you wouldn't imagine if that... You wouldn't... Spider-Man really should be responsible for cleaning up all the litter, dog litter, and otherwise in New York. He could just do it with a... Don't you think?
I mean, I'd rather him saving,
But
saving people and stopping crime. And
imagine if you're a crook, and you know that Spider-Man is going to wrap his web around you, and on the end of that web, he would end crime once and for all. All right, anyway, so they don't want to...
forward to that movie coming out, Marvel in 2040. There you go. That's going to be their idea for the next Spider-Man.
It's like the old
line.
song, like, you don't want to spit on Superman's cape. In this case, you don't want to on Spider-Man's underpants.
All right, so moving on. So that has been my world for the last couple of weeks. So we've been very much focused on the potty in our house. But we're making really good progress. And my daycare provider is telling me for, only 2 weeks in, they're doing really, really well. So I take that as they're probably not the most perfect kids ever being potty trained, but we're certainly not behind in it. They're
What are you going to do
well.
with the boys Saturday while we're making parade TV?
My husband is going to try to have them watch via the live stream because
Well,
I don't know what it's like to have one child. I imagine it's not nearly as tough as two of the same age at the same time. But my husband and I don't really take our kids out by ourselves because it's like having four, and one goes this way, the other goes that way. And we actually have those little wrist cuffs for them. But they are so good at figuring things out that they already know how to get out of them.
Of course they do.
So if I needed just to get them from building to a car really, really quick, we can make that work, but for extended period of times, give them 5 minutes, they'll find their way out.
I mean, I'm happy that you have twins, but remember, you put yourself in this situation, they will always have an accomplice. They always have an accomplice, they always have an alibi,
right now it's them pointing fingers at the other child, because they actually know to blame the other one.
Boy.
One nap time the other day, and I go in the room because they're making noise, they're not laying down. All of their clothes are piled on the floor. And I am just looking at them, and Carter just looks at Brady and just points. And I'm like, oh no, this wasn't just him. No. So we're about to have to get into reprimanding for lying.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're getting to that age where I'm like, no, you clearly know the difference. And
No, I think we'll
that's a whole other book that I'm going to have to read.
Well, you'll need to get the whiteboard and the dry erase marker, and I will put on it aiding and abetting as the children. Today we're going to discuss aiding and abetting.
Once they can say it, we will have that conversation.
Well, I think we filled the whole show, didn't we?
Oh, my goodness.
Just about. I'll tell you briefly at the end here. I was asking about waking up early because we had an incident in the house here the other day. I guess it was a week or two ago when they had the lunar eclipse. Did you see it?
I recall that it happened.
See,
if I don't have to get up early, or then I have to, I'm not gonna.
See, and I was thinking about that. I thought, I bet Becca did not even worry about it, because when you're your age, you assume there's going to be another one.
Yes. I mean, aren't there lunar eclipses every year?
Well, this particular one was the most total partial eclipse. It was a partial eclipse. It was 99% totality, and it was the first one in 500 or 600 years.
Oh.
So it was a rarity. But of course, there's always eclipses in different parts of the globe. In fact, when the solar eclipse happened here in Tennessee, my wife and I made huge plans, and we drove a couple hours away to get to the maximum totality.
I drove to Farragut just to be inside the line.
Yeah. We drove to the center of the line to get the maximum totality. Well, it gets to the point when I guess you realize that you don't have that many eclipses left in your life that you think, well, I thought I said, it's at 4 a.m. though. I said, well, I'm not going to set an alarm. If I wake up, lately I've been waking up just parched from, I don't know, it's the dry air or just whatever. I'm always thirsty.
At what time? What time do you wake up?
Well, I go back to bed. I'll wake up a couple of times in the middle of the night, like at 1 or 3 or whatever time.
Oh my
I
God.
drank that too fast.
You okay?
No, I drank it too fast. It went down the wrong pipe.
Don't die on me, Frank.
No, I'll be fine. So I thought, well, if I happen to wake up, I'll check. The eclipse goes from 2 in the morning until 6 in the morning, and the peak is at 4 a.m.
Oh, okay. So you had a window.
So I wake up to get some water, and it's 3:50. I'm like, this is great.
That's perfect.
Jerry's over sound asleep. Absolutely.
Did you
completely
wake
out.
her? Would she have been okay with you waking her?
I decided not to. I decided I will sneak downstairs and I will go outside in the cold. It was in the 30s. It wasn't, but it was cold. So I go outside and I'm looking for this moon. I go out the front door, and I found it. It was out the back door. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. I'll stand out here and watch it. And it was really interesting because you could see, if you wait there more than 10 minutes, you can actually see the shadow, the difference.
Oh, you can see it move.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we don't see it move, but you notice that it's after 10 or 15 minutes, it's different from where it was when you started.
Okay.
So I thought, well, that's pretty good. I saw most of it, and we're getting, it's almost 4 o'clock. I mean, so I've seen 97% totality. I'm done. I come around, and I open the door, and I swing it open, and there's Jere standing right there. I'm like, ah!
I'm sure she loves that reaction from you.
I said, what are you doing? She said, I want to see the eclipse. I said, but you were sound asleep. She says, yeah, I set an alarm for 4. So while I'm outside looking at the eclipse.
Did she get mad at you for, getting out there before her?
I didn't think of it that way because she is very competitive. Like you.
You beat her.
Yeah, so she went, but she came out there for totality. I was gonna give it up. So we stood out there, and actually it was very sweet because we were both cold, so we're just hugging each other for warmth.
Aww.
And we looked at the eclipse for a little bit, and then she has an app on her iPad that can identify all the things. You literally point it up, and it tells, and it matches to your GPS location.
Oh, wow.
It tells you what it is you're looking at.
So it's basically turned your phone into a planetarium.
Yeah. So she's pointing out, while the moon is eclipsed, that all of a sudden the stars seem brighter.
Well,
so
that makes sense.
you could see Gemini and Taurus and these other things that I wouldn't have. Orion is the only one I really recognize. I can spot Orion.
I recognize the dippers. I just never know which one's which.
Yeah, well, one's bigger. And you're picking up on the bell quick. I should just we just let you have it over there. So yeah, she's explaining to me, oh, those are the Pleiades. Oh yeah, it's good. And that's the other thing, whatever it is. It's Cassiopeia, maybe. I don't know. I'm just rattling off names. But
yeah,
she was excited about it, and it was nice, and I'm glad we did it.
That's a sweet moment.
Yeah, it's just the part that got me is that she didn't tell me she'd set an alarm for 4. I didn't tell her I was going to just try to wake up on my own, and then...
You're a great communicator.
There gets to be a point where, you don't want to... Sometimes you just let it go.
I have been married long enough to understand that now.
Yeah, and certain things you just let it go. And this is one of those ones, like, I'm not going to risk making her mad by waking her up if that's not what she wants. So I didn't know.
So you risked making her mad for not waking her up.
Well, she gets up normally at 5 something.
Oh, wow.
So she could have still seen a good chunk of eclipse,
You gauged your risk.
Yeah.
Love you, Jere.
Yeah, I probably should have told her. I probably should have woken her up. She was sound.
Maybe you should have discussed it before you went to bed.
She went to bed hours before me. It seemed like. I don't know.
My husband and I aren't at the point where we can go to bed at separate times. We have to be...
Because you have to be on team twins. You've got to keep your defenses up at all times.
There's also that.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
no, I understand it. But yeah, Jere works at a school, and she leaves at 6:30 in the morning, so her alarm goes off at 5 something. And it's now the opposite. When I used to have my alarm go off at 4:30 and I'd leave the house at 5 something to go do morning radio, she would get used to it and would sleep through it. Well, now I'm used to her waking up and leaving, so I'll wake up in the middle of the night, get some water, she's there, I go back to sleep, and then by the time I wake up again, she has disappeared.
Just a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, she's at work. Well, sometimes she'll start texting me, like, oh, I forgot to take the dry cleaning, I forgot, or something, you need to do this.
Your honey-do list.
Yeah, you need to do the thing. And then some mornings, like today, I think she started texting me at 7 something. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. I have a bunch and
Yeah.
anyways,
Well,
doesn't matter.
all right, that was a good show. Let me say thanks a lot for watching. You know what I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show?
What?
The merch.
There's merch.
I set up the merch store. I'm going to type that in big letters for the next episode. The merch. You can get now, I put this on Facebook. It said if you're having family or friends or anyone over, for the upcoming holiday season, confound your friends with Frank and Friends Show drinkware. Because I've created on the Teespring, or now known as Spring store, pint glasses, wine coolers. I don't know what they're called.
Are you telling people they need to be drunk to get through this?
All right, well, the pint glasses, you can put anything in them. I guess they're meant for beer. But we also have water bottles. And I just signed up. Also, there were 6 different options for drinkware, including 2 types of coffee mugs. The same white coffee mug that we used to have on the old merch. Mm-hmm. And now they have the black coffee mug, which I would actually buy. I don't like white coffee mugs because they stain with coffee. Like this one, our prop one is a good mug because it's dark on the inside. Yeah. So you would never see the coffee stains.
That makes sense. Either that or you can have pride in how much coffee you drink by the stain. How dark that stain gets over time.
We all know people, and you probably do too, in the break room at work who have the nastiest, grossest, most stained coffee mug. And they don't ever wash it. They just keep adding more coffee to it.
That's the thing that gets me.
Or do they rinse it?
Like, if unless you drink coffee black, I can see on the same day not washing it between refills. And maybe even like a second day. But like, wash the cup after because your germs get all on it. It collects dust throughout the day.
If you put milk in your coffee, you have to wash.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and I drink the coffee black, but I do at the end of the day wash it. See that my actual coffee mug over there?
Yes.
It's dark blue, so it doesn't show the stains, but I do wash it every night.
I would hope so.
Yeah, but I'll keep refilling it as many times as I can during the day.
This is a great mug too. I like this one.
Yeah, I got this one from Amanda Marr at the Sevierville Chamber of Commerce for Smoky Mountain Winterfest. And I just put it out there because, well, I didn't have any other Christmas decorations. It's the best I could do. All right, so Becca James, thank you.
Thank you. It was fun.
I'm glad. Yeah, you did a great job. And join us again Saturday for parade coverage.
Yes, Carnes Christmas parade.
Where we can't talk about potty training unless something unusual happens in the parade, of course. Oh, look down there, Becca.
Well, people can bring their pets to parade with them. But remember, your pets get cold, so make sure they're covered. The little doggy jackets, put a little festive vest on them.
They
make those.
I guess.
It's a thing.
I mean, I only had one dog in my entire life, and she was a Siberian Husky.
So maybe she didn't need it.
No, what she needed was a haircut in the summer is what she needed, but she was...
You just shave them in the summer.
Oh. Well, anyway...
that is my friend.
Pandora would love it in the snow. That was when she was happiest. She'd just sit out there and just be happy in the snow and run around and be Siberian.
Okay.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I don't... Putting clothes on dogs seems odd, but I guess if they're house dogs...
I mean, it also depends on, if they're short-haired dogs and you have them outside. And we can have a whole discussion about this because I love dogs. But
well, buy a dog that's climate appropriate. If you live in a cold climate, buy a cold weather dog. How about that?
I'm just going to stop.
All right. Check the link on our website, frankandfriendshow.com, for the new merch store, because in addition to the drinkware, I'm gradually adding, and Frady's going to help me with this in the next couple of days also, we're going to gradually add more of the sweatshirts and t-shirts and hats and things. It's just each one you have to make on the website individually, and then you add it.
So you are now a fashion designer.
Not very good at it, but... It's really just logo placement, and you got to get it in the box and get it sized the right way. That's really all it is to it. But yeah, and decide, so I'll just put as much of that stuff in there as I can. Yeah. And it supports the show and helps pay for the batteries because we go through batteries like you wouldn't believe with these microphones.
You thought about rechargeables?
I don't know.
I have kids, so it's all rechargeable batteries for the next 10 years.
I guess so. Maybe that's what I need to do. And then you can find out more, of course, on the website, frankandfriendshow.com. I'll have the link for the Carnes Parade where you can see lovely Becca. And we'll also put your social
and
media.
Handsome Frank.
Your social media in there if you want to keep up and follow Radio DJ BJ.
Yep, at Radio DJ BJ on Twitter and Instagram, and Becca James, y'all, Becca James. And Radio DJ Becca James on Facebook.
Good. All right. Well, thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh, your hands are cold.
It's winter.
It's not that. All right. We'll talk to you again
I'm
next
not a
time.
cold weather human.
Bye.